samples of her audio is available with us today. And these audios, as a lot of us know, were recorded much reluctantly by her. She was not in favor of recording her music. She was not in favor of avalodiya words la solnonna. The டீ கடையிலலாம் என்னுடைய சங்கீதம் ஒலிக்கிறத பற்றி எனக்கு அவ்வளோ அபிப்பிராயம் இல்லை அப்படின்னா அவளுடைய ஒரு ஃப்ராங்க் காப்பி. ஸோ அந்த ஒரு அவளுக்கு they had a different kind of approach, a different kind of pride in their art. It's not so much pride in themselves, but pride in their art and pride in their school, pride in their knowledge, pride in the kind of values that they stood for, the kind of efforts that somebody like Dhanammal did in order to, she was like any great stamp collector or coin collector when it came to music. The kind of repertoire that she assiduously collected from so many different sources, they were too precious for her, invaluable. And the kind of effort that she took to preserve those things, and the passion with which they preserved. It's not like they were short of creativity. They could have easily added sangatis, they could have changed the structures if they wanted to, but they did not. And when I had the fortune of learning from Brindama for more than 10 years, from 1986 period, I was privileged to get insights into not only Dhanammal's own approach to music, but also Brindama's steadfastness in preserving that as best as possible. And the way that they used to approach music, the way in which they used to hold the composers. Many of the great composers, they were fortunate to interact with directly, like Thiruvattur Tyagayar. They had interaction with Patnam Subramaniar. They had interactions with Dharmapuri Subbarayar and so many others of that era. And they had that privilege of learning so many things directly from them, which they were able to hold in their most authentic forms, because the composers themselves felt secure that their outputs would be preserved best by somebody like Dhanammal. There have been other veena players, there have been other musicians of that era who have also done a great amount of service, but when it came to preserving without changing, that is the golden watchword that we are actually using here. An artist, when we are looking at compositions of Muthuswami Dikshitar or Shyama Shastri or Kshetrajna Padams and Javalis, and even Tillanas, some things that they have learnt in their repertoire, all these things they preserved. And so many unknown composers or rare composers, Tamil composers, Tamil Padams, all these things were there in Dhanammal's repertoire. In fact, there have been estimates, varying estimates about the extent of her repertoire. Some people have placed it even in the 2000 category, about 2000 compositions of different composers, but these are very difficult to verify. What is pretty much available to us is the kind of repertoire that Brindama had, because even in Dhanammal's own words, Brinda was the closest to her style and approach, be it in vocal or in veena. So what I'm actually going to share in this short presentation is I'll try to run some of the slides, and I may not be making the same points that are on the slide to save time, so you're actually going to have a multi-dimensional experience, one on your eyes and another on your ears. Dhanammal herself had absolutely no opinion about going and talking about music. அவள் வந்து சங்கீதத்தை பற்றி பேச போகிறாங்களாம் அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப டெரிசிவாக அதை பற்றி பேசுவாள். அவளுக்கு பாட்டை பற்றி பேசுறதுக்குன்னு அவளுக்கு ஒரு ஃபீலிங் கிடையாது. அதை வாசிக்கணும், பாடணும், அதை பற்றி பேசுறதுக்கு என்ன இருக்குது அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராங் ஒப்பீனியன் அவளுக்கு. பட் that's it. Unless we really talk about such people, we are not going to gain a lot in our life. So we'll be missing out too much in our life. So here is a brief timeline of her family, starting from her great-great-grandmother, who was herself a court musician in Tanjore. And then, of course, we had people like her great-grandmother, then her grandmother, Rukmini, Kamakshi, Then her mother, Sundaramma, who was actually adopted by Kamakshi, and Sundaramma actually had 9 children apparently, of which we only have information about 4, including one who was supposed to have drowned. And Dhanammal was one of them. And one of her siblings was a violinist. And as far as the pedigree of Dhanammal herself is concerned, it's a phenomenal lineage, you can see. They were all fantastic artists. And the kind of things that you actually see, the music was not the only thing that their family excelled in. They were very good in dance. You should also have one more thing in perspective here. Up to the time of the musical trinity of Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar and Shyama Shastri, Carnatic music had very, very close interactions with dance as well as Bhagavata Melas and drama, theatre. So the repertoire was created by Trinity, which actually was more specialized for Carnatic. One of the greatest contributions of Trinity is they started deviating away from these other forms and started creating specialized repertoire for Carnatic music. Even though Tyagaraja also indulged in some operas like Lauka Charitrama, Prahladi Bhakti Vijayam, and he, Muthuswami Dikshitar, indulged in a little bit of jatis in a couple of his compositions like Shri Mahaganapati and all that. The dance element came down. But whereas family like Veena Dhanammal, which actually was from a lineage which was very close to music and dance, you can see that the family spawned so many brilliant musicians as well as dancers. And probably it is the only family which boasts of 3 Sangeeta Kalanidhis as a single unit among them. So the kind of achievers that they have had is phenomenal. Dhanammal's influences were many. The kind of artists, as we can see, she was not only exposed to the great composers of her era, but also to the great musicians of that era. So she was really the link between the great composers on one hand and the great musicians on the other hand. So she really was the conduit between these two. ஸோ வந்து பெரிய பெரிய கம்போசர்ஸ் கிட்ட கற்றுனது இல்லை பெரிய கம்போசர்ஸ் வழியாக வந்த அந்த அவளுடைய சிஷ்ய பரம்பரையிலேருந்து கற்றுன அந்த ஆத்தென்டிக் ரெப்பர்ட்வார், எஸ்பெஷலி தீக்ஷிதர் ஷாமா சாஸ்திரி எல்லாம் வந்து இஃப் யூ சி த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் குருஸ் தட் ஷி ஹேட், அண்ட் தட் இஸ் வை ஒன்ஸ் வென் ஐ பெர்ஃபார்ம்ட் இன் ஷாமா சாஸ்திரிஸ் ஹவுஸ் ரீசென்ட்லி சம்டைம் இன் சென்னை, the family actually told me that the best versions of Shyama Shastri is only with the Dhanammal school. இன்ஃபேக்ட் அந்த அவ பாடுற விதம் தான் ரொம்ப கரெக்டாக ஆத்தென்டிக்காக இருக்குது அப்படின்னு அந்த ஃபேமிலியே வந்து என்கிட்ட சொன்னான். அதே மாதிரி முத்துசுவாமி தீக்ஷிதர் அப்படின்னாலும் சரி, ஏன்னா இந்த சேம்பர் செட்டிங்கில் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஆர்ட், the beauty of that is that it's a mindset. It actually brings a different mindset. Now recently, some of you might have seen a quote by Bob Dylan, one of the pivotal singers in world music, where he actually said that it's more challenging for me to perform for 50 people than for 50,000 people. So when you actually have that kind of chamber setting where the entire audience is homogeneous, and if you are imagining an audience of Ariyakudi, Tiger, Maharajapuram, Shammamudi Srinivas, and that level of listeners in front of you who are playing, then you are really going to be giving your best. And the kind of interaction, the kind of the rapport that you have between you, the musician and the listener, is going to feed itself and create magic. And that's the kind of music that Dhanammal was able to produce in many of her Friday sessions. அதில் வந்து என்ன ஒரு அட்வான்டேஜ்னா, we do not have to sell anything at all. ஒவ்வொரு ஃப்ரேஸும் வந்து ஆடியன்ஸுக்கு மக்களை போய் ரீச் ஆகுதா அப்படின்ற அந்த ஒரு மைண்ட் செட்டில் நம்ம வாசிக்கணும்னு அவசியமே கிடையாது. அண்ட் அது தனமால் ஃபேமிலிக்கு அந்த ஒரு ஜெனட்டிக்காகவே அந்த மைண்ட் செட் கிடையாது. ரீச் ஆனால் ஆகட்டும், இல்லைன்னா போட்டோம் அப்படின்னு அந்த ஒரு மைண்ட் செட் அவளுக்கு. ஸோ அதனால வந்து there is no attempt at display, no attempt at exhibition, no attempt at actually showcasing and technique that Dhanammal or Brindama had. In fact, if we were to sit and analyze technique, even to produce a simple phrase that they rendered just like drinking water or frappuccino, now it will be absolutely impossible if you were to approach it from a technical standpoint. Oh. அதில் கிளைடு, ஃபோர்ஸு, கிரேஸு, கமக்கம், பிளெயின் நோட்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்து அந்த ஒரு லைனில் அடங்கிடும். இது வந்து ஒரு சின்ன லைன் ஃப்ரம் ஆனந்த பைரவி பதம். இன்ஃபேக்ட் தனம்மாள் herself has played this padam, but because she was compelled to play this padam in her recording barely for 2.5 minutes, our fast வாசிச்சிருக்காத. I'll just play a very short clip of that padam.